In this video, I'm going to share the top 7 most asked questions at PetSmart interviews and help you plan great answers to these. So let's look at a question that is asked in every single interview and you really need to get right. And that is, what times could you work at PetSmart? And fundamentally, they want 3 things from this question. They want people who are flexible, they want you to be open-minded, and they want people that actually say yes to as much as possible. So if they ask, can you work this time? They want someone that says yes to that. Remember, if they pick a specific time to ask about, they are very interested in that. So you want to try as best you can to say yes. Of course, if you can't do it, you're going to have to say no, but that would, of course, reduce your chances of getting the job, especially if that's the time that they have in mind. Now let's look at how you actually answer this question. And the key is to focus on what you can do. Some great answers that you can take to your PetSmart interview are things like, I'm pleased to say that I've got excellent availability and that I would be open to working at any time throughout the full range of PetSmart's opening hours. So if you've got really fantastic availability, that's the best way to answer it. If you could offer overtime and you'd be interested in that for extra pay, you could say, I would be open to overtime if needed. There might not be any, but it's just showing that extra bit of flexibility. You could say the hours you put on the advert are perfect for me. So if they say specifically on the job advertisement what times they're looking for, you want to be able to commit to those times. If you have slightly less availability, you want to talk about it in this way. You want to say, generally, I'd be most interested in working, and say what you're looking for, what your preference would be, but then try and offer as much more as you can. However, could you do other times, sometimes? What could you offer that tries to make that answer a little bit stronger? So talk about what you would prefer rather than saying, I won't work this time and I won't work this time, because that's a very negative way to talk about it in the interview. Focus first on what you can do and sell yourself on that basis. Let's look at another question that's incredibly important, which is, what do you know about PetSmart? And if you're going to an interview with PetSmart, they expect you to know about the company. And so I'm going to present to you some key facts that you can take to your interview to make sure that you're well prepared. So the first thing you do is describe them very simply. Say they are a chain of pet superstores. Very simple. That's fundamentally what they do. They market themselves as being a trusted partner to pet parents. That's a quote direct from their website. They supply pet supplies, pet food, and some stores may also sell small pets as another business stream. So that's a list of what they primarily sell. They are based in the US for the majority of their stores, but they've currently expanded to Canada and Puerto Rico. So they've got a slightly wider business and they probably will expand more over time. They focus on low price and high volume. So they make their money by selling a lot of product, but each product that they sell is sold at a very small margin, but they make that up with the volume. The staff in the stores are to be well trained, and therefore they have very knowledgeable staff. That people that are going to a PetSmart store want to ask for advice, they want recommendations, and so staff need to be well trained to deliver that service. People could buy these things on the internet, but they decide to come into the PetSmart store, and it's because generally that they've got really great staff there, and that's what you're trying to be part of. They also offer vet clinics in many of their stores. They were founded in 1986. That's a number that you need to memorize. And they were originally known as Pet Food Warehouse and later changed to be PetSmart. They were founded by Jim and Janice Doherty. That's another name that you want to be familiar with. So memorize the date, memorize the founder's name. They started in Phoenix, Arizona, which is where the company is currently headquartered to this day. It's a good idea to know the number of stores, so how many do they have? That changes, it goes up and down. Learn the current number, it'll be on the website or their Wikipedia page, and give them that ballpark number. You want to also know what the current loyalty program is. Is there ways to earn points? What keeps people coming back? Why should people keep shopping here? What's the loyalty program? Know what it is, know how it works. And I would also recommend you read about the PetSmart charities, which is linked to the store and has donated vast amounts of money and raised vast amounts of money and has lots of ongoing projects. So it'd be a good idea to have a quick read about that and also mention that as something that you'd be interested in being involved with and is a real positive of the company. Another top tip is to supplement what I've got here. So feel free to take loads of notes or screenshot this, so that you've got the key facts to take to your interview. But just to give you that extra bit of fluency, it's a good idea to read the About Us and History web pages on their website, and that will explain this in a little bit more detail as well, and will supplement this and give you a really, really strong answer that will help you get the job. The next question that they quite like to ask is, how would you deal with an angry customer or an upset customer or a complaint from a customer or something where you've got an interaction with someone being a little bit more difficult? And there's a really simple way of answering it. The first thing you say is that everyone gets good service. It doesn't matter if they're angry, it doesn't matter if they're having a bad day, you will deliver good service to everyone and make that commitment. Say that you always deal with it in a calm and professional manner. Then say that you would listen to the customer. So if the customer is angry, one of the reasons they're probably angry is they're desperately wanting someone to actually listen to the problem that they've got, and they're frustrated that something's gone wrong and they want someone to sort it out. So that anger is often a way of give me attention and make sure that you're taking this seriously. So if you're actively listening and you show that you actually care about their complaint or about what's upsetting them, that is one of the fastest ways to de-escalate the situation. You want to understand the cause of anger. So why is the customer angry? What has went wrong? You can't do anything about it until you know what the problem is. And then to round off your answer, you say that your goal is to resolve the issues that are presented to deliver good customer service to that customer. And that's really a simple way. It's all about emphasizing that everyone's going to get good service, doing the right thing, listening to them, and then figuring out how to fix the problem within PetSmart's policies. And that's how you ace the question. The next one is, what does good customer service mean to you? So they're going to ask, what do you understand by good customer service? Another good tip for preparing is they may ask, tell me about a time that you got great customer service, or tell me about a time that you delivered good customer service. So it's a great idea to have an example ready, but most commonly they tend to ask about what is good customer service. So let's look at some things that you can mention. So, and we'll make it particular as well to PetSmart. So you can talk about being knowledgeable, that when people go to stores like PetSmart, they expect to speak to someone that can make good recommendations. And so they need knowledgeable staff that are well trained. So that's the first aspect of meeting customer needs at PetSmart. The next thing is it needs to be reliable and needs to be consistent. It shouldn't matter who you talk to or what store you go to, that knowledge and good service is consistent. That's how PetSmart builds a brand based on good service. That the employees genuinely care. They actually want to help customers. They care about good service. That's another important thing. And make sure you say that you genuinely do care about delivering great service and you take pride in doing a good job, because that's another way of showing that you're the right hire. That it's warm and that it's friendly and that people are greeted with a smile and people like interacting in that store and they feel that they're valued. The next thing is that people that work in pet stores should actually love animals. That's going to be part of delivering good service because you're going to be passionate about it. That it's also proactive. So when you notice a customer is having some difficulty, that you're not waiting for them to have to ask you, that you're spotting that and going and proactively assisting. And then to round off your answer, you say that good customer service is about first meeting customer needs and then exceeding their expectations. And that's a nice way to round it off. Talk about meeting all of their needs and then exceeding their expectations. That's what you're trying to do in your job. And also mention that that is what you aim to do when working at PetSmart. And that's how you have a great answer. The next one is one that I can't tell you what the answer is for you, but I can give you lots of suggestions about things you might want to say, and that is, why do you want to work at PetSmart? And this is such a common question that I would have a bullet-pointed list of maybe 6 or 7 things that attracted you to working at the company and just talk about each of them. And if you've got it prepared and you've thought about it in advance, your answer is going to be so much better. So let's look at loads of things that you might want to say. So if you know someone that works there, again, you don't have to name them, you don't have to say who they are, but you can say, I've spoken to people that work at PetSmart and they've told me all these positive things that's really got me interested and gives me the idea that it's going to be a great place to work. Don't talk about any negatives, focus on any positives that you heard from people that work there. Say that you love working with customers and you're looking to work in a customer-facing role, that you're passionate about pets, that maybe you have your own pets and you have a great interest in that, and that's something that you're passionate about. That you can say that PetSmart provides outstanding training and development. They do have a history of providing a lot of training to their staff, and that might be something that really interests you and you see a lot of potential there. That it's a perfect match for your skills. So talk about what things you've done in the past. Have you worked in a similar industry? Have you worked with animals in the past? Do you have the right knowledge? Do you have a lot of experience in customer care or customer service? That's a great thing to mention and say that it is a good match for your skills if you can back that up. Talk about previous jobs you've had in retail and how you like working in retail and that this is a continuation of that. That you want a job that you're active. If you're in a store-based role, you're moving around a lot, that might attract you. Say clearly that you love working in retail, if that's the case, and be passionate about that. Say that you feel that you can build a career here. It's not a tiny little store, it's a big superstore. There's going to be lots of other jobs and opportunities as you develop over time. That you may be a customer of PetSmart, you may get a lot of your pet supplies there and you have a really positive impression of the brand, and that's also attracted you to work there. And if you've been a pet owner and you've got lots of knowledge built up from that and developed a real interest in pets, and that you feel you can bring that knowledge to the job, that's also something great to mention. And again, knowledgeable, you can't emphasize that enough because it's going to really help you get the job if you've got that knowledge that they're looking for. And so that's how you answer that question. They often ask, can you tell me about yourself? And remember, you're applying for a job, so there's certain things you want to emphasize, and you're applying to PetSmart, so you have to make it particular to PetSmart. So let's look at how you can answer this, and I would really recommend that you have it planned out. So you got to talk about your experience, your skills and qualities, and then your motivation. So your experience, talk first about your retail experience. That's the most valuable experience you got. Anytime you've worked in retail, or perhaps any customer-facing role, even, for example, in a restaurant, anything that you've been dealing with customers, that's the best experience. Then once you've talked about that, mention your wider experience. What else have you done? And link it to this job. So if you say, I've also worked in this career, think about how that makes you better at working at PetSmart. Pet experience, if you're a pet owner, talk about being a pet owner. If you've worked with animals before, mention that. That's really great experience. And that knowledge is going to help you be better at your job. Any qualifications you've got, mention what they are. Any certificates that you've got, mention what they are. And it is not a bad idea to bring those qualifications and certificates with you so you can actually prove that you definitely have them. Skills and qualities they're looking for. So say clearly that you love animals, that you're highly reliable. Mention the pets that you've got. That's good experience and good knowledge. That you're friendly, that you're well organized, and that you're knowledgeable about pets. These are things that you can mention, especially if you can back them up well. Then motivation, say that you love working in retail, that you would really love a job where you get to work with animals because you love animals so much. And mention that you're a regular PetSmart customer if that's the case. And that also links to why you want to work in the company. So it's what experience you've got, list all those skills that apply to you, and then explain why this is the right job, and you've got a really excellent answer. I would recommend that you bullet point out the key points or write out an answer. You're not going to memorize it, but you're going to have a good feeling for what you're going to say, and you're going to be so much more confident in answering it. Then before we finish, they're going to ask at the end, do you have any questions for us? And this is a great opportunity to ask the right questions to show that you're the right person to hire. It's not just about asking what you want to know. It's also showing off that you're the right person to hire and having the conversations that you want to have to end the interview right. So you could ask, what was it that originally attracted you to work at PetSmart? And what is the best part about working here? And when they tell you what they love about the job, what they love about the company, you can link that back to the answer of why you want to work there, and you can have a really positive conversation about that. You could say, I've heard a lot about the positives about the training PetSmart provides to employees. Could you tell me more about this? So find out what training you're going to engage in and show a real interest in that training. You could say, can you tell me what the next steps are in the PetSmart hiring process? You could say, what training and progression could you envisage being possible for a high-performing employee over the next 1 to 3 years? And if you are ambitious, that's a great question to ask. And it can start the conversation about your career going in the right direction. And it shows that you care about being a high-performing employee. And then lastly, you want to end positively, say thank you, and remind them that you're very interested in the job. There is certain things, however, that you should definitely not ask about. So don't ask about for time off. Being in a job interview to get the job is not the right time to talk about, can I take these days off? Really negative. Don't talk about delaying your start date. They really dislike that. Try and negotiate your pay. This is not the right time. If you're going to negotiate, if you have any scope to negotiate, you negotiate after they've chosen you as the best person rather than when they've not decided who's the best. And then don't ask to move store. It's really negative. They're trying to staff this store. And if you say, will there be opportunities to transfer to another store? Immediately they're thinking, well, if we hire you, we're going to lose you very soon. And we're going to have to restart this whole interview process again. It's not going to go down very well. So I hope this video was helpful to you. If it was, please like and subscribe and post in the comments what questions PetSmart asked in your interview. And finally, thank you very much for watching.